This is a much bigger day than last week. We get 6 games worth of teams in this one compared to the 2 last week. And this is really where we're going to be sorting out our squads, making sure that we utilize the cash we left over, the players we didn't lock in, to ensure we have the best round 1 team possible. I'm jumping in, guys, a couple of minutes before the team lists drop here at 4 p.m. And I'm going to be live reacting to it for you guys. But I just want to kick it off, guys, with the Vegas games and the way that they were officiated as well. So it does seem like the way that they set up the field, the grass that they used was very much a fast track, similar to that in the synthetic grounds and stuff like that they use in the NFL. That these grounds were, you could see that the guys were flying. There was plenty of attack in this one. Obviously, some good defense more in the second game, but the whistle was put back in the pocket by the refs, and the completions were pretty high as well. So that was super helpful for these sides and being able to get some attack in that one. I've obviously spoke about Turbo yesterday, about Terrell May, all these types of guys, and the potential plays in these 2 teams that we need to look at for next week. A lot of people are jumping the gun, including myself, and just finding out a million ways that we could get these guys in our side. And obviously, with it being round 1, we can definitely do that because we have the ability to change everyone that isn't locked in our sides. And that can be a good thing, whether you leave some cash and all that in the bank. But just be aware there are going to be a lot of things that happen in the 6 games to come. We're also going to get team lists from the Tigers next week that we didn't get this week. And we're basing it all off the trials at this stage for the Tigers. So just be aware of all those things that, guys like Turbo do look really good, but could come up against, a slightly tougher side next week in the Roosters defensively. That's for sure. They play slightly later in the week, but the Eagles play against the Roosters, and they only let 10 points into the Broncos. So just be very aware, guys, that this is what's happening with these players, and that it's not always going to be that way. Yes, he probably should have scored 70 or 80, like I said, but next week he could come out and get 40. So there's no exact rush to get him. I do think he's set for a great year. He looks really fast. He looks really strong. Last year he just looked underdone, and this year we finally got to see him, and he looked awesome at that. So it's 4 p.m. now. Let's see if the team lists are there. We'll find out, but that's something I just want you to note, guys, before we get into these team lists as well. Obviously, Ethan Strange is another one to look at. It seems like he's got the 6 role, so we will find that in these round 1 team lists. Let's get into it, guys. Cleary, Ponga, and Mitch Moses are on the front screen, so that's super exciting. I imagine there'll be a few people on the NRL website. Let's see if it crashes for us or if we can actually get these round 1 teams. So yeah, the Strange news is an interesting one as well. Obviously, team with the fact that you can move him into your centers, and that's something that we thought we were going to get weak, so potentially some cover in our wing fullbacks. Whereas, let's see if this loads again. But whereas the we may have had to plug some really high price guys in our centers. That could have been the potential thing. Of course, it's crashed on everyone. How funny, NRL.com. That could be the way they had to play it in our centers, obviously there. And now we may not have to do that. But again, we'll find out in a second when this loads. And of course, it's not going to load for us. Oh, it's had an absolute shocker. NRL.com. It's cooked us. All right, so the NRL.com team lists have died. I still can't get on the website. So we're jumping on here. Thanks, Zero Tackle, for getting these out. We'll zoom that in a little bit further so we can go down the list. But to kick things off, it's the Newcastle Knights up against Canberra. Let's kick it off with Canberra. It's going to be a very, very interesting one here. We do have Nick Kotrick on the wing, so Brenton, you'll be a happy man. You'll be able to select him for your centre wing fullback cover. But Rapana in the fullback slot, he definitely is a solid pickup, guys. I don't have much of an issue with him being there. Albert Hopewadi in the centres, along with Xavier Savage, who's a fair bit more expensive, unfortunately. But that's where we're at. Oh my goodness, Zach Hosking is starting. Zachy boy, he's worked his way into that spot, and the starters are Josh Papali'i and Joe Tapane. So that's where they're playing it. That could change, but I don't think that matters too much. I don't think you're going to take guys like Mariota, Gula, or Salo there with that being the way. KO Weeks is in the 18 jersey, so yeah, Trey Mooney misses out as well. But I suppose the big question mark for me now is then that with Strange there instead of Weeks, he's obviously a bit more of a kicker in general play. He's also a goal kicker, so that's something to note here for sure in myself looking into this side in this one here. So that's that's sort of the Raiders there. Rups, it's like, is he going to stick at that fullback slot for a bit? Is Seb Chris going to go into the centres for Albert Hopewade? And so what do we make? What do you guys make of that situation with Rups being a 480, 490 kind of guy that has heaps of upside, plenty of volatility, obviously in his scoring up to sort of the 70s, 80s, down into the 20s and 30s? Is he someone you're looking to take in this one? Danny Levi has also been named at hooker, which we thought would be the case. They did play at the start of the season last year. Levi could play close to 50 minutes and Starling would play similar minutes as well in the 40. So they would go above that share role of that 80 minutes. So that's something to note with those two, that Levi could still play 80 minutes and could definitely still be some cover. We'll obviously find out in a sec what happened with the Eels team list. And yeah, we'll speak further on all of these guys. This is just my initial reaction to the 17s and how I think things will look. Obviously, guys, this is what you want to be looking at and analysing in this video here. Zach Hosking at the number 12 position. Very, very exciting for him. What we don't see, though, is Elliot Whitehead at this stage, if I'm being correct. Yeah. So now Elliot Whitehead means Zach Hosking could actually play 80 minutes here. We'll have to find out what's happening with Whitehead. If you guys know, let me know in the comments. But yeah, Zach Hosking could be a fairly solid option now as well. Morgan Smithy's in the third team. We're not sure how many minutes he's going to play, so he would definitely be a risk at this point. But Hosking, we know that he has the ability to play 80 minutes, and he's a decent amount underpriced in that case. So definitely have a look at Hosking in your edge position if you didn't go for the Wongs and Tupanuas, that's for sure. On the Knights side of things, guys, Ponga's been named, and people that are sort of, anyone's worried about him and sort of like Turbo, as to if you should be getting Turbo. Kalen Ponga has upside up to the hundreds. So I think Kalen's definitely one if you were looking at him, or if you have him in your side right now, stick him in there, keep him there. The Knights should be good. They're at home. They're up against Canberra, who should put up a decent fight. I think it'll be a fairly close game. I'm tipping Knights to win by 4, as you guys saw in that tipping video. If you haven't looked at that, go check that out. Outside of that, guys, Tuala's been named. It's exactly what we thought was going to happen there. You've got Leo Thompson in the start. I think he's going to have a really good season along with Adam Elliott. It's exactly how we thought it was going to be named. Jacob Saifiti in the starting prop role with Daniel on the bench. Jack Cogger in the 14. Yeah, there's not really too much to say on this one. Lucas will be sharing time with Kai Paul, unfortunately, unless there's an injury to any of the forwards in the game. If there's an injury to Tyson Frizzell, then Lucas could play big minutes. My worry here is that I've been sprouting Terrell May and Dylan Lucas all preseason. Watch Dylan Lucas come out and get a double, somehow play the 80 minutes, and Frizzell's the one to lose some time. That would be hilarious. Been talking up Elliott as well. I think that he's going to have a good season. He'll make money. Will it be from round 1? Potentially. Does he have many of these guys that are going to take minutes off him? No, I don't see it at all. I see Phoenix losing some minutes to Cogger, and whether they put Gamble in at 9, whether they put Cogger in at 9, we'll find out how that plays out. But I don't see Elliott playing less than sort of 57 or 8 minutes, and he'll score well in that. So we'll leave that one at that, and we'll get into more of the fun games. No Schiller and no Weeks in that one. Alrighty. Oh, here we go. Sharkies, let's start with them, guys. Cam McInnes in the 13. That's exactly what I wanted to see, and we'll work out how that's going to play out in our teams if we are looking at him as the guy we want. Royce, the choice Hunt, is in that starting role, and we have no further news on Braden Hamlin-Uele at this stage. Kalo Iro is in the 18. So, yeah, no further jump on him into that centre role. Nico Hines has been named. We thought he was going to be. Sounds like he's going to be fine. Wilton, Nicola in that spot. I suppose Hunt's the interesting one, guys, at 350 odd. He could definitely make some money to start the season. So if you do need a cheap mid, then Royce could do that. He looked awesome in his 2 trials. So definitely have a look into him. And Cam McInnes is 13. So let's have a look at our bench. And now worry with this bench is the fact that it's a 4-forward middles bench there. So where do we see McInnes getting more than 50 minutes? Unless he is spelling Blake Brayley in that 9 position. And that's the big worry at this point. And I suppose Finucane coming off a bit of an injury, and maybe that's the reason he's in 14, or McInnes is just going to be the big minute guy, plays 60 minutes, does really well for our fantasy teams, and that's exactly how it plays out. That could be the potential with McInnes. I'm not going to push you into him. I'm not going to push you away from him. I think that he could be in a 50s guy. just really safely does that, and could do really well for your side. So not too much on the Shark side apart from Cam McInnes there. It's very similar with the Warriors. So Taintul Piggy at 380 odd, 385, whatever he is, he could definitely do a good job. We just don't know how many games he's going to get in this Warriors side. So that's something you need to look at with Tane and your side. Does he fit? And do you think he's going to play enough to make some money and score really well? Because I think he'll score well. It's just, the minutes that he's going to be, the games that he's going to be playing in this one. Rocco Berry gets the start over Ali there, and Johnson's going to be there. He's going to score well. Their forward pack is very, very settled in there. Tohu Harris in the 13. When you've got Ale Afoa and Dylan Walker on the bench with Freddie Lussick, I can see Tohu playing big minutes, and I think he's going to be a very, very good scorer to kick off the start of the season. So definitely have a look at those couple of guys with your sides and sort of what you need from your mids. And is it Tohu Harris, is it McInnes? Because both those guys I expect in this game to be very heavily through the middle. Obviously some tries on the outside, but plenty of work through the middle. Completion should be solid, and both those guys I think are going to get 50 plus very, very comfortably. Let's go to the Storm up against the Panthers, and oh my God, I see an interesting one. Joey Chan. How good. Cam must have been named, and the talk was he was going to miss this one, and then I heard him watch a little interview of him talking about that he was going to be, if he's 80 to 90%, anywhere from 80 to 100%, he'll be playing on Friday night, and that's where he's at. He's obviously, I imagine, got Jonah Pezzett in the 20, Sean Bloor and Kane Bradley in the 18 and the 19. So Joey Chan has made the edge spot, and he looked great in the trial. He played sort of through the middle for the most part, which was interesting. I'm just seeing what's going on the second row side on the other with no Sorensen. But with Joey Chan, I think that him starting, it's going to be very hard to not have him in our sides at all from round one. I can tell you that for free, that's for sure. So yeah, Joey, I think we'll be getting him in. We'll obviously discuss him in further detail in the next video. We'll have Scoop on tomorrow. That'll be fun. But Pap's been named. Tui, Josh King, Liero's in the 13. I think he'll do really well, guys, in that 13 role. You got Wishart off the bench as their utility. He was going to be there. Harry Grant's still a great option. Eli Katoa, an awesome option as well. You got Alec McDonald, Chris Lewis, Christian Welch. I think it will all just work through the middle, guys, taking minutes from Liero, Josh King, and also Tui. And I'm not sure. That could mean Joe Chan plays big minutes, which is absolutely wild. And you start him, I believe. He's got plenty about him. Very, very interesting. He's going to make some waves in our sides, that's for sure. You got Failongo is on the bench. That extended Sean Bloor, Bradley, Jonah Pezzett, Marion Seve, and Failongo is absolutely incredible with Remus Smith and Nick Meddy in the start. So good stuff. Melbourne, and this is going to be such a fun game. I can't wait to watch this one. But on our bench, we do see the Eisenhuth, Henry, Lindsay Smith, and Tyrone Peachy at the 14. So we do see Luke Summerton in the hooking role, guys, and that is because Mitch Kenny is out for 1 week. So don't read into that too much. We get the exact back seven that we're looking at, and Taylor May really excites me as someone that I think has some upside. Very similar to that if we get like a Carraz or something like that. If you already know the team list when you're watching this, I'll obviously get to him very, very shortly. Dane Laurie in the 18, Maverick Guy in the 22, so he looks like he's a little bit back. Preston Ricky in there as well. Sonny Luke in the 19. So, yeah, Peachy will play some 9, splitting with Summerton. Isaiah will be big minutes. Garner and Martin, how big a minutes are they going to play? Is one of these guys going to move to an edge? All interesting thoughts. Liam Henry, a bit expensive in fantasy, but solid in Supercoach. Probably not too much to say else on the Penrith boys. Thankfully, that Cleary's been named as our captain. That's for sure. Let's go to the they haven't named... I haven't got the team list for Eels yet. We'll sort that out as we're going through this one. Let's see if NRL.com has cooked us yet with team lists, and we'll get to that in a second. That's the one I wanted to see. Anyway, Titans up against the Dragons. So Keanu Keaney, my boy, has been named. Very excited on that one. Cleese Haas has been named in the other edge position with Keenan Palacia in the 13. So he did start in their trial as well, but didn't play big minutes, and I just don't suspect that he's going to be the guy to play the massive minutes for your sides and do really well. His PPM is pretty junk. So Jacob Arlick doesn't make that side, neither does Harley Smith-Shields. Tanner Boyd, a really solid pick, guys, for sure. Chris Randall in the 9. Come again? Sam Farrell's in the 14. I didn't see that one. Okay. Don't think that's going to be relevant enough. I think they're going to butcher each other. Randall's pretty expensive. Verrill's obviously not a pick at all now. Isaac Liu is there. But Keenan's going to be the 13. Aaron Clark, 16. Jamin Jolliffe in the 17. AJ Brimson is back. Good news. Philip Sami, 4 is back. Boyd, which we thought would be the case. So that's up against the Dragons. There's probably not too much else to say on the Titans, given they're out round 2. Really only Keeney, I think, is a clear option. Both for more great in Supercoach, not so much in fantasy, given the price. Moving to the Dragons there. Have we got the team list yet? Oh, they've popped up. You wouldn't bloody believe it. All right. We're going to go to... Where's the Eels? It's up there. Okay, let's get to that in a sec. Now I've got so much anticipation for that one. I hope these team lists have been helpful for you guys, that's for sure. We go to the Dragons, and we've got Sloaney in the 1. We thought Lomax, Sully, Bird, Ravalawa, Flanagan, Hunt. Eisenhuth there until Lucy Leilua gets there. He's not close. A couple of weeks, I think it is for Lucy. Viliami Fafita does make the bench, so he becomes half an option at 230k, that's for sure, but not a big option. He beats out Murdoch Masilla. So with this bench there, does Eisenhuth play the full 80? Not sure. Dak DeBellin will play fairly big minutes. Laurie is back. Molo. I think you've got Mulheisen and Little who are going to split, and I think that these guys, maybe Raymond will play a little bit on the edge for Eisenhuth if he plays 60 and maybe 15 or 20 in the middle to make 40 minutes or so. For Feeder, 20 minutes. Michael Molo close to 40, and that'll probably make up their, DeBellin playing 65 or 70. That'll probably make up their formation there, and for Feeder could do okay in 20 minutes, but it'd be super slow burn and not something I'm advocating for. If you're looking at him, that's for sure. Sewer's going to score really well. DeBellin, I'm a little bit cold on just because we're not sure on the minutes that he's going to play. All right, let's go. Let's go and have a look. What do we got? Sean Lane has been named to start. Brendan Hands and Joey Lussick. He cannot help himself. Bradley Arthur. Funny, man. All right, Simonson on the wing. So that just puts him out of contention in our sides, unfortunately. So, yeah, scratch him out, guys. We don't want him at wing. We also don't want Lussick, and we don't want Brendan Hands. And that's exactly how it's going to play out. Kelma Tuolangi is going to be playing some edge, very highly likely. And is it Sean Lane that he takes minutes off? Wow, we've got some things to think of, that's for sure, in this side. Yeah, wow. Plenty to talk about, plenty to think about with this one, because I think like Laney's obviously super highly owned in Supercoach, not so much in fantasy, but him sort of, they named him to start in the trial and then Kelma came on and played. So I think Laney at the moment might be a 60 to 65 guy. Kelma plays 20 or something like that. Madison is in the interchange, which is good for him. Assey misses out. Ogden misses out after having a pretty good preseason. Junior, Regan in the start. Lussick and Hands, I don't think you can take either of them now. And kick them out of your side, and we're going to have to make some decisions. So these team lists, I just love. How fun's team lists, eh? How fun is team lists? It's probably all we have to say, isn't it? Sean Russell gets the wing, so if you're looking at him, sure. Morgan Harper's too expensive. Penasini is a gun center. Should do a really, really good job in this side, and obviously Moses is a good half option if you're looking at him. That's for sure. Cartwright, God, Hopgood. With him, right, I think he's going to play massive minutes with this pack. Offengawi made the side. I didn't think that was going to come. But with Hands and Lussick splitting, that obviously helps the middle forwards. I think Regan and Junior are going to play massive minutes as well. So keep that in your thoughts. Also, we'll talk about any of the other stuff later. Hutchison definitely makes the side, guys. In the reserves, we do see Toby Sexton in the 20, Jake Turpin, Connor Tracy in the 22. It sounds like he's going to be playing some New South Wales Cup. Bronson Sherry in the 19. I don't know who the 18 is, but congrats to them. No name. For making it, Jacob Kiraz makes it. Wilson's in there. He looks gun. Taft's in the 1 at the moment. I think there's a chance that eventually Crichton will end up in 1, and we'll see like Tracy, Zeri, something like that. I don't think you can leave any of those guys out. Kiraz, with Wilson being really, really good player, I think it's going to help Kiraz with some... They're going to score some good tries down that right-hand side, and I think the Kiraz is a really strong option, given now he'll have the dual position, wing, fullback, and centre. Same with that with Taylor May. Both those guys, great options in your side. Drew Hutchison as well, if you're looking at him, no reason why you should look away. He's not going to be losing minutes. I think he'll do really well. Farmasili ends up in the starting spot there with King. King will play big minutes. You'll kick out Preston. Jamin Salmon gets the 13, so lock him in as a player in your 17. Should be able to get some good minutes. He seemed to tackle his heart out, so expect sort of the 35 to 35 to 40, I think, points out of him. He'll make 30 tackles, make some runs. He'll be fine on that front. But Kurt Mann in the 14, does he place him 9? Sam Hughes is there. I just think with that bench, with Moran, Josh Curran, Sam Hughes, I don't think you can start Hughes, but have him then there as a loop or something if you want. And with Curran, it's very hard to take him at 501 in fantasy, that's for sure. So that's where I'm going to leave him at this point there. So spoke about the Titans and the Dragons. Who we got next? We've got the Dolphins and my Cows. Alrighty, let's start with the Dolphins. So Bostock gets it. All of the back five, exactly what we thought it was going to be. Cody Nikorima beats out Isaiah Katoa, so well done to Cody. I don't think Cody's an option at this point. Flegler gets the start. Kafusi and Lemuelu gets the 11 and 12. Ray Stone gets the 13 over Max Splaff. So there's a little bit of talk about Maxi potentially getting that spot. Oh my, Thomas McKelly didn't make the squad. Okay, interesting. No Jared Wallace, no Jake Cavarillo, no Ewan Aiken, and Isaiah Katoa. So really, really good extended bench for these guys, which is helpful, going to be helpful for these guys long term. Definitely, it's definitely something you should think that the Dolphins are going to have a good season because of that. This 13 role, I think it's hard to select Stone. Like Plath is going to play some time there. Kenny Bromwich is going to potentially spend some time there. Does one of those guys, like, does Kenny play some edge? They've got Nichols and Josh Kerr. So I expect with this, the way that they've lined this up, Marshall King will play 80 minutes. So if you're looking at him, definitely don't get turned away from it. That's for sure. For the Cows, Drinkwater is there. We've got Felt, who makes gets his start. Congrats to him. He beats out Semi Valame, who's on the reserves, along with Thomas McKaylee. Tom Chester's close at 18. Good boy. I love him. He's one of my faves, actually. Jack Gosefsky and Jake Clifford. Interchange for the Cows, Granville, Neem, McIntyre, and Firiaki. So it doesn't really help us out for Cotter owners to have like a utility, because I think unless Granville takes some minutes off Robson, it probably hurts him a little bit. Does Lukey play the full time? I don't think so. Does Nanai play the full time? Potentially not, but I think Lukey's the guy to lose a few minutes in this game and in this team. Taumalolo probably 40 odd to 50, gets the start. Sweet. Dearden, Townsend, not too much else to think. Like Zach Labour, I think is going to have a really, really good season as well. Bit awkward priced, but I'm taking him in Supercoach, so that'll be fun to watch. But that's where we're at with the Cows. Have we got? Oh, is that it? How boring. That's right. There's only 6 games. There you go. So what's our takeaways? We've got the Eels situation is the big one. This Titans, Dragons one, not so much. Dolphins, Cowboys, really it's just McKaylee on our bench that's going to hurt us a little bit. So he hasn't made the side yet. And fair enough. He's only just come into the top 30, so he's close, but no cigar. So that Eels one's going to be very interesting. People taking Hopgood, I don't think you need to worry too much. No Simonson in that one there. We did have, obviously, did I go past Dragons? We had Sully, for those that are interested in him. Definitely a solid option. I wouldn't be pushing anyone away from him at the price. In the centers, look at Kiraz for sure. Look at guys like Taylor May in that center and wing fullback dual spot. For the Panthers, we don't see Sorensen, so make sure he's out of your side. Joe Chan looks like he's close to a must-have, so maybe we can just change Lussick or Hands for Joe Chan. That sounds great, and I'll personally be looking to either loop him or start him in my 17 against these Panthers, would be my general thought, given they play on Friday night, the third game of this one. It'll be fairly easy to loop in. For the Wars, I think Tohu Harris and McInnes are going to do really, really well. Just a minute's worry on McInnes, how many he gets. I think Tohu's going to get big ones, and he'll be sweet. Do you pick Tane Tuapiki? Do you pick Roger Tuivasa-Sheck? They're the question marks. Jesse Raymond should have a good start to the year as well. Trindle's an interesting one. And then, sort of Knights, do you stick with like a Dylan Lucas? Do you look at Zach Hosking or Morgan Smithies? I think they'll start really well. Hosking with the lack of edge options on the bench with no Elliot Whitehead could be an interesting one. We'll have to find out, I think, a little bit more information on Whitehead, because I don't think it's spoken to him about him at this point. Do you look at Danny Levi as your potential downgrade option with no Eels guy? Does like Danny Levi come in instead of Thomas McKaylee, who is an option? So there's a chance that if I run like Harry Grant, it could be Danny Levi as the secondary option, which is gross in this Raiders side, but it's definitely something to look at. And I think we're going to leave it at that, because I've got to get off to cricket coaching for the last week for the ladies up here on the coast. They're in the finals, which is super exciting. But thanks to Zero Tackle for coming in with the goods when NRL.com team lists crash. So that obviously means that this is the most people that are looking at team lists and playing fantasy and Supercoach in a long time, and that's why they didn't have the bandwidth to be able to cover it. That's how I'm going to play it, and big thank you to all of you guys for watching this one. Hope you got plenty out of it, and we'll get into a big video tomorrow regarding all the with Scoop regarding all the guys we want to be targeting and his thoughts on them, and we'll get my thoughts in the back end as well with that, cash cows in Joe Chan and the like. So thanks for being here, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.